All right.
But your audio's good?
Audio's good.
That's fine.
Audio's good. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
And my apologies for the interruption there.
No worries.
No, that's all right.
Two.
Well, yeah, and it goes vice versa too. Like you can record digital and then transfer that onto vinyl as well. So it's all, it's just, I think it's a matter of convenience too, and at least you're able to savor the analog quality to some extent when you get it out there to the digital
Right.
world. And I mean, if there are those analog geeks out there, which we know there are, like myself,
Yeah.
you can just go buy the vinyl and listen to it that way.
That's true.
Well, and then so we've been talking about recording, and I also wanted to bring up just the process for your most recent release that's coming out, In My Blood. We're gonna play your song. Which one is that? We're
Too
gonna
Hot
do
to Hold.
Too Hot to Hold today
Yeah,
in
the
its
first single.
entirety.
Yeah.
So how was that particular song recorded?
Well, okay. The whole album, it's really interesting because I've been in Ventura now for 15 years. And through a mutual friend, I met a guy by the name of Nico Bolas.
Okay.
So Mark Hartley, who's Fitzgerald Hartley Management Company, he's a friend of mine. And Mark, and at the time, Tim Aller was working with him, who was the go-to guy for Robert Cray.
Okay.
Put me on the road with Robert Cray. So I made friends with them, and then I had a lunch with Tim Aller and Nico Bolas. And Nico is based in the Ventura area. And, he's a very, very famous mixing engineer,
Cool.
Steve Jordan's favorite guy. And he also produces a lot of great projects, Melissa Etheridge, a whole bunch of different people. We had lunch, and we decided to make a record together.
Cool.
And the studio we were going to use was up in Ojai, and the owner of the studio's father wasn't doing well, and he had to go back to New York. So Nico was like, well, where do you guys rehearse? And I said, well, I've got a big living room in my house. He goes, let's have a look at it. So he comes over to my house. And it's this big open living room with a Persian rug and a drum set in the bay window, and
Cool.
Pro Tools over on a desk in the corner. And he goes, let's just do it right here, old school
Awesome.
style.
Yeah.
So it's big enough room to where we just gathered in a circle. Philip Parla piano on keys. I have a 120-year-old grand in my living room.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then he put
Wow.
his, he had an XB2 Hammond rig next to the piano, and he had his piano station. Then I'm on my couch, and we put, which was really interesting, little recording secret. Instead of having the barrier in front of the microphone
Right.
to where it's cutting out the sound in front of me, he goes, let me show you something. And he puts up a barrier behind me.
Huh.
He says, what way is the microphone pointing? I go, at me. He goes, so then why do you want to block the sound that's in front of you? He says, do you want to block whatever sound reflection you're getting from behind you?
Okay.
He says, you'll get some bleed a bit from the front. But anyway, so to answer your question, we cut it in my
Yeah.
living room.
Nice. Cool.
And we were just all sitting in a circle. And it was just, it went down so harmoniously. I mean, because we could all look at each other. Like it wasn't like we were, off in corners and, staring at a mic stand or music stand with, we could just look at each other.
And did you track it live? Like everybody played it once and then you tracked it that way? Or
Yeah,
did
the
you
key was just don't
overdub?
make mistakes.
Yeah. This
So
is
if
real
there's-
blues.
So if there's a little bit of a bleed going on, well, Muscle Shoals, whatever, some of
Yeah.
these great old recordings back in the day were done that way. And we just sat in a circle and made a record. And then we had the Memphis Horns playing 5 songs,
So
which will be on the next releases that come out. And we, thank God for technology, we're able to send the sessions to them in a 2 mix, and they're old school. There's 4 guys standing around one microphone, and they get their balance right there as they lay it down.
that's
And so they did 5 songs and sent us back the tracks. And then my sister friend, it's like a family to me, Josie Aiello, who does vocal beds for, let's say, Rihanna, Beyonce, J-Lo. She was signed by Quincy Jones 25 years ago.
wow.
She's an amazing singer, and she sings on a lot of commercials and a lot of records. And I went over to her house and I actually had to learn how to run Logic because I'm a Pro Tools guy.
Yeah.
So I learned how to run Logic, and she has a little boy, so she wasn't able to just come over to my house.
Right.
And so I went over to her place and we grabbed all the harmony vocals, and she killed it. It was just fantastic. So, and 80% of the live vocal is what we kept.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I just punched in a couple of things that needed it, and then sang again one of the songs, I believe. So there's your answer. Sorry, I'm so long-winded.
No, well, I love these long answers because it tells a story, and we're on talk radio, but people want to hear a story,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm,
And that's I mean, that's probably one of the most ideal experiences to have as a musician when you're recording an album, getting to
Yeah.
say that you record it in your living room, everybody
Yeah.
did it at once, with all these amazing parts. And then because we can thank technology for this, you were able to get the
Yeah.
Memphis horns and then your sister friend singer to get on there.
yeah, Josie's
And-
amazing. Mm.
I mean, so I think things seem to be coming together quite nicely for you.
They really are. I'm very proud of this record. It's a record I always wanted to make because it's kind of a mixture between the singer-songwriter person that I am, and then I'm a huge fan of like a traditional soul music,
Mhm.
soul, Al Green and Otis Redding and Sam Cooke and all the Stax stuff. And like, oh man, come on. You know?
Well, you could totally hear that in your recordings.
Thanks.
And we're gonna take everybody out to break really quickly. If you're just tuning in, my very special guest today is Shawn Jones, and we're gonna take you out to break with his song "All in Good Time," and that's from his record "All in Good Time."
Mhm.
We'll bring you back in with his song "Coupe de Ville," and
Yeah.
"Coupe de Ville" is from "Pain Passed Down."
Yeah.
And then Sean's gonna play a live song on the radio for you when we come back from break too.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah. Right? Is that okay, Sean?
Of course it is.
Thank you.
Sure.
Well, before we go out, what song are they going to hear when we come back?
You mean that I'm going to play?
Yeah.
A song called Roll Away.
Roll
A
Away.
song I did, called Roll Away. Sorry, man.
All right. We'll
Yeah.
see you in a second.